Hi everyone, welcome to Live Darts. Friend of the show, Mardle's here, and we're at the Tower of London for darts. That doesn't quite sound right, but what an unbelievable thing for the sport.
It is, yeah, and full credit to SAP. They keep bringing us to these venues that are quite incredible. When we was in Germany, it was the Palmgarten, which was it was incredible. It was something. I can't even try to explain it, but it was like one of the most magical places I've ever been, and to play darts in there was special. But like you said, the Tower of London. What's all this about? They've got no ceiling. They've got no lack of, well, put it this way, their ideas are coming from another planet. But look, it's all for the growth of darts, and yeah, full credit to them. Kudos.
We've got quite a game as well. We've got the most successful player the sport has ever seen and probably will ever see, against the latest sensation, and I am going to say sensation because he's doing something quite remarkable, Leighton Bennett, for a 13-year-old kid, and he is a kid at the end of the day, but what he's doing is pulling up trees at such a young age.
Yeah, I've never... I used to be a decent youth player, I was a poor professional, decent youth player. I've never seen the like, and back in the day, we never had all the averages being recorded, so I'm assuming there was a few that were pulling up trees back then. We had I did a few interviews today. Mentioned Mark Day, James Wade was a brilliant youth player, Michael Van Gerwen. This kid just seems better than any of those. You read about the things he's done. He was a county A player at the age of 12. And he was winning man of the matches with like sort of 93, 94 averages. Actually played for Lincolnshire County at the age of 11. Most kids at that age, they've not got the hand-eye coordination to catch a ball, let alone hit 140s, 180s and hit doubles. It is. I spoke to him earlier and he said, I loved your interview where you called me a freak. I did call him a freak, and it was a term of endearment. He's not the norm. He is different to any youth player I've ever seen in my life. He's got a family that are there for him. They're not pushing him. I've just been speaking to his mum and dad. They're not pushing him. It's a case of if he wants to practice, he practices. No one ever says you go and do that. In fact, they'd like him to do more schoolwork, but there you go. He's got this opportunity with Target Darts, Nevada Sports Management, but like I said, SAP are bringing darts and Leighton to places like the Tower of London. How far they can take him with their backing, I do not know, but the world of darts now has one of the biggest multinationals involved in the entire world. Now, it's never had one of those. It is without doubt, SAP is without doubt, SAP, the biggest company that's ever been involved, and that is incredible. And Leighton has sat behind him. What more could he want?
Is this the ultimate test at this young age playing Phil? We know Phil doesn't practice anywhere near like he used to. However, in these nights, he can still go and mix it with the best of them. So is this the biggest test of where this 13-year-old phenomenon is?
I don't think it's the biggest test in darting terms, but maybe to find out a little about himself. We know what the situation's like down there. Believe me, it's quite intimidating because there's not much room for people to stand, and it's only basically there's only a few seats down there. It's quite enclosed, and if someone was to say, "Go on, Leighton," now that would be really loud down there, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
and it would kind of be out of place. So I think it's going to be deadly silent. You're going to get the odd "come on, Leighton," because his mum and dad are in there. Why shouldn't they? But I think it's going to be. I know he's 13 and they're fearless at that age. We've all been 13, 15 years ago. I want him to hold his nerve, which I think he will. But I want to talk to him after and ask him how much did it get to him, because it's going to at one point, whether it be Phil or the occasion or just the environment and what's happening. It's not the norm. This is not the norm. I'm still kind of getting my head around it, and if he can handle tonight, then at the age of 13, well, what can he achieve?
You talked about the youngsters that we've seen and talked about a lot already are comparing him to a young Michael van Gerwen. That's the highest praise possible.
Yeah.
Are we maybe, though, putting too much on his shoulders at this young age, comparing him like we are?
I think we are, but it's only natural. It's only natural. You just can't say, well, let's just forget what he's doing and see where it all leads. You can't. Because otherwise, if that was the case, he wouldn't be here. He's here because of his ability, his reputation that's following him around right now. And there is going to be expectation on his shoulders. If he's got that weight on his shoulders and he knows it and he's dealing with it, that's a different situation. If he can deal with the pressure and he's just brushing it off as if, I don't care, I'm playing the darts of my life right now, I couldn't care less. I'm 13, I don't fear anyone. I know that I can win on my day. Yes, of course we're going to be thinking, come on now, let's just ease back and see how it all pans out for him. But again, chatting with his mum and dad, it's a case of, they were saying, we want him to fulfil every dream that he's ever had. It's his son, it's their son. In 2 years, he may not be throwing darts. In 2 years, he may be unbeaten in youth terms. In 2 years, who's to say, 3, 4, 5 years, he may have won a world title. We don't know. But I'll tell you what, finding out is going to be fun.
No, I completely agree that it's nice to see, because he hasn't stopped smiling from the moment he's walked in either. Like you say, he's just like, I don't care.
Yes.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
But if he were to win tonight, does then that put him on another planet again? Does that shoot him to stardom at a 13-year-old?
I had a word with Leighton earlier in the hotel. I said, have you contemplated what winning would do? He went, I've thought about winning, but I don't really care what happens after. It's just about tonight and winning. Well, that says it all to me. He couldn't care less about tomorrow. It's today. It's today. And if he wins, he deals with tomorrow. And that is an attitude that I certainly never had at 13. I haven't got it now. I'd be thinking of, what kind of stir is that going to cause? His reputation will be elevated 1,000,000%, whatever it be. But how can he be a normal 13-year-old taking on a challenge match against the most successful player the world of darts has ever seen, winning, and everyone watching it? That's not normal. That is not. But according to Leighton Bennett, he's going to treat it as today's today. Tomorrow, I'll deal with what comes of it. He's a breath of fresh air, and I'm just looking forward to joining him on the journey.
Obviously, you do a lot of coaching. Where he's only 13, he is going to develop and grow as a human being.
Yeah.
Is that going to cause him potential issues 3, 4 years maybe down the line? Because obviously he's so good the way he is now, but obviously he's going to grow, he's going to get bigger, taller. He's going to have to adjust. Is that a potential problem in his development?
It is if he really kind of retches up the inches. If in 2 months he grows, say 3 months, 4 months, an inch or 2 inches, which at some points he's going to have a growth spurt. But he's quite tall for 13. I'm not sure he's going to end up 6'4", 6'5", but I think he's about 5'10", 5'11" now. He's certainly not short. There's one thing he's got to deal with. I don't think it will be the growth spurt. And obviously, look, 13, he may be bored in 2 years or a year. Who knows? But the one thing he's going to have to deal with, and this will happen, which is an absolute guarantee, is a loss of form somewhere. As a youngster, that is horrible. You actually think that, where did it all go? Is that it? Have I reached my best here? And I don't know a player on the planet that's never had an off period. Not one. Whether it be when they're 13, 14, 44, 45. It's irrelevant. At that moment, you think that you're never going to win another game of darts. I want to see how he deals with that. Because that will come. But when, we don't know. But it will happen. And that is when you start finding out how good and strong you are. A la Michael van Gerwen.
Also, as well, the way the PDC is structured now, that will help his development as well, because he's not going to be thrown in at the deep end straight into a Pro Tour. We've got the JDC Tour, which he's winning at the moment. From there, he can go to the Development Tour, the Challenge Tour, the Pro Tour. So the development of his game is imperious, but the way the structure is, that can only help him.
Well, the structure within the PDC is absolutely fantastic. And yes, you're 100% right. But I'm looking back 2 years. He played for a pub team with his dad, then played Super League, then played County on a big stage in front of 300-400 people. That was at the age of 11 and 12. That's incredible. So going to the JDC, and then he may go Challenge Tour, Development Tour, whatever he may do, and then on to the full Pro Tour. He's working up to that. He's just been from one step to the other. But he actually was dealing with playing on a stage before playing in these development tours within the PDC. He's already got a leg up to that. He can already deal with that, which he is. He won 2 at the weekend, back to back. And what he's got going for him is this innate ability. He was born with something that most people are not born with. And like I keep saying, we've got to see how it pans out. But I'm looking forward to tonight, and just to see if he does get nervous, which I'm expecting. Even though he says I'm fearless, and I believe him. Look, we're all fearless to a point, and then it becomes, oh right, I'm now not as fearless as I thought I was. I'm expecting that point tonight, and we'll see how he deals with it.
Just going off topic a little bit, because he's still a youngster, and the one I'm going to talk about. Some great news for darts, I believe, this week. Corey Cadby has finally been granted his sports visa and is coming back over. That's a good thing for darts as well. Only 24, he's lost 18 months of what I think will be a glittering career.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see the young man back with us.
Well, Corey Cadby even though he's hardly played on the PDC tour, he reached the final of the UK Open 2 years ago. The man is a brilliant darts player. He's got it. He's got it. I just hope this time off hasn't caused him to relapse for a couple of years. I hope that he can come back as confident and as good and strong and talented as he was that 18 months, 2 years ago. Because you can kind of go a bit stale and you can kind of go off the boil because your competition hasn't pushed you on. I hope it doesn't take him 18 months to get that time back. Because if it does, that could knock him back even further. But yeah, great for the sport. We want characters. When I say we, I'm on about the game of darts. The sport needs characters. The sport needs brilliant players. So we've got Corey Cadby, we've got Leighton Bennett, and we've also got Adrian Lewis in the winner's circle recently, beating Raymond van Barneveld. Look, it's been a good week. But it could become unbelievable if Leighton Bennett wins tonight.
I'm going to fast forward here a little bit. Next year's Premier League could be rather exciting, the way characters are coming back into form. Like we've said before, maybe darts went a little bit stale this time last year. It was a bit same old.
Yeah.
It's got that buzz, that X factor back again in the last few weeks.
But like you said, it is a bit early to talk about it. But I'm just pulling 3 names out of the hat. Corey Cadby, Adrian Lewis, Dave Chisnell. Right, that straight away livens up the Premier League. And I'm not going to go into who should be kicked out, but most of us have our favourites to watch. And they're all roughly the same. But you just put them 3 in, and then all of a sudden you may not need a contender. I like the contenders though.
Here's one for you. Leighton wins tonight.
Yeah.
Carries on his development.
Yeah.
This time next year is 14.
Yeah.
Too young to be a contender for a one-night special in the Premier League if he carries on what he's doing.
Me personally, I think he needs to be looked after. I think he needs to be just led in the right direction, but I use the word led, not pushed. He will say, of course I'm ready for it. Of course I can do it. I can play anywhere. I'm brilliant. Which is fair enough, having that confidence. He could be absolutely destroyed and think, do you know what, I'm not good enough. You only need to walk into the wrong player on the wrong night. You lose 7-0. Look, we've seen Phil Taylor get beat 7-0 in a Premier League match. If Phil Taylor can get beat 7-0 in a Premier League, any player on the planet can. Leighton Bennett may not come back from that. I'm not saying he's going to get beat 7-0, but it's a possibility if he plays.
The only reason I ask is because we all know social media will ask that question at some point, whether it's right or wrong. We know what Twitter's like. It will get asked, what about Leighton? So I'm putting out there early doors. Is it too soon? I agree with you. Yeah. I think it is, but we've asked the question. Wayne, thanks very much for joining us here at the Tower of London.
My pleasure.
We'll let you get back. Studley in the other room with you tonight as well on comms.
Right, so.
Brilliant, Wayne. Pleasure. Thank you very much as always.
You can't have it all.